Did he not know that she was still here? No, he visits her, doesn't he? I could have sworn that they keep saying that Lakan visits. Has Lakan been visiting for Mei Mei? And didn't realize that Fang Xing was still here? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are here with the final episode of Season 1 of the Apothecary Diaries. We of course come back with a board, we come back with notes. Let's go ahead and start with the board, because why not? And with the board comes the board changelog, where I changed the white line between Lacan and Feng Xian from white to purple. And of course, Fang Xian being the name of Maomao's mother, in case I did indicate that, because I think that's the first time we got the name. So, change the board with that information. I added the Sure and Lakan of family lines, which is to say, images of the characters as we saw them in the episodes, which is also to say, mostly from here down, or here blurry, and then the rest. I did what I could. And then I connected Lumen to Lock-On. Something I will get into in my notes, but just keep that in mind. I believe that to be true. If it turns out to be not true, then I'll edit that in Season 2, I guess, or if it's a revelation here in this episode, yay me for guessing it right ahead of time. Alright, to the notes then. Okay, in episode 14's reaction, I discussed my predictions for what the new opening meant. I thought now would be a good time to go back over it to see where I was right and where I was wrong. First off, I said Maomao is either going to join a firefighting unit or accidentally start a fire. I believe the scene I was referring to was her investigating the warehouse fire, combined with Lihaku being too close to a test Maomao was doing. Going to go ahead and just mark myself as wrong on that one. Second, I referred to the scene of Gaoshun, Surin, and Maomao all gathered in front of Jinshi in his room with all the stuff on the table, and I said I'd guess that she's going to put something on Jinshi's face and that everyone is reacting to what they see. And that was the disguise scene, so I got that right. Third, the Jinshi shoving something into Maomao's mouth. I said I'd suspect that Maomao was eating a poison, and that Jinshi is taking it away from her. Gaoshun is restraining her from eating more, and the excited expression in Jinshi's face is for her to cough up the rest. I think I'm just going to go ahead and say wrong here. Jinshi was shoving a medic into her mouth for her having consumed, or right, commented on possibly having eaten poison earlier, but my guess as to other of the events and motivations were all just still wrong. Fourth, I guessed the alleyway thing was going to be a Jinshi flashback to his past and would possibly include Suri and Adu. It was not, and was in fact just disguised Jinshi and Maomao, so also wrong. Fifth, I guessed Lakan and Mei Mei were a thing based on the hand playing Go, and that something would happen to Mei Mei. While Mei Mei certainly seems to have a thing for Lakan, that wasn't her hand, and that part of the opening has nothing to do with her. So, wrong again. 6. I guessed the blurry mirror was the pure consort. It wasn't. It was Maomao's mom. So wrong again. 7. Said the hand holding the chest might be a heart attack. Was Gaoxiang's child. Wrong again. 8. For some reason, I guessed Jinshi really was a eunuch based on the hill scene. Confirmation that he's faking it with medicine. Also wrong. 9. I said Gaoshun was posing for the camera. It was Liaku. Another wrong guess. I guess also ultimately no camera, right? So he wasn't posing for us. He was posing for Maomao, technically. Given how close I was on some of these, I'd generously give myself a 10% on being correct. So, the Lu Men conspiracy isn't one I ever go much into detail about because, in the realm of conspiracies I've been putting together, it's still like a puzzle I've dumped on the table and haven't really made the outline for yet. He's connected to a lot of important players on the field, involved in a number of important events, and yet I still can't place what he might be up to, if anything. The reason I bring him up is for the aspect that he raised Maomao, and Lock-On doesn't seem to like the guy who could have tried avoiding getting his daughter back all these years. Sorry, I just said didn't seem he liked the guy. What I meant to say is he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would have avoided trying to get his daughter back for all these years. The only thing I can think of standing in his way would have been Granny's opinion of him after he seemingly abandoned Feng Jing for all those years. Could it have been that the reason Granny put a price on Maomao as a member of the Verdigris house was to ensure that she was too expensive for Lock-On to buy out? It worked with Feng Jin, incidentally, and establishes that for all of Lock-On's acumen, he doesn't have money to throw around. Bringing it back around, I think Lu Men is involved in this ploy to keep Lock-On away from her as well, for whatever reason I've yet to figure out. I think it was obvious that Maomao wasn't trying to throw Lock-On off balance, as Jinshi said, with the drinking rules that she added, only specifically for the fact that when Lock-On offered to remove pieces from his side of the board, she turned him down. Trying to shake him up would seem like trying to get every advantage she had, so if that was how she was going into it, then I think she would have had accepted Lock-On's handicap. Not doing so would imply that she wasn't trying to handicap him, but was on some other ploy, as we then later discover. The thing that throws me about Lock-On abstaining from drinking is the element that he showed up at Jinshi's office repeatedly drinking fruit juice, apparently, but also left a bottle as a gift with the intent to give it to Maomao that was evidently liquor. Knowing that one gift was alcohol only served to make me think that all of his drinks were alcohol. So, Lock-On's father has a mistress, but Lock-On is also the oldest child in a household, implying brothers or sisters, and later said that he has a half-brother, or has half-brothers, implying his father kept on with his mistress. The thing that gets me is the entire sequence is essentially Lock-On's replacing people's faces in his mind with his uncle's advice of using their voices, behavior, and build to see them as go pieces or chess pieces. The thing is, in doing so, it reminded me of the only other time I can think of where the show has a hidden face, or has hidden a face from us. Now, I do this a lot in other shows, pull a why would they hide their face from us unless it is somebody we already know or will know? I think it's come up the most in Link Click for me. Well, the doctor that adopted Surei and gave her a job, they hid the top of his face. I ended up going back and forth between the two episodes. They both wear a brown outfit with a tied blue headpiece. But in the past, Lock-On's uncle had gray hair, while Surei's adopted father, closer to the present, had no gray hair. For the sake of comparison, this guy and Lock-On's I wrote dead, I don't know why I wrote dead. Lock-On's dad wear their hair in different patterns. Surei's dad has hair that's swept out from the back towards his ears, while Lock-On's dad's hair goes straight down. So unlikely that the hidden-faced people are the same. essentially just giving clues into what my research and patterns of deductions were, which is to say, barely there. I have no mother. A woman did give birth to me, but in the pleasure district, a courtesan can never become a mother. Well, will this be a clue to a possibly more of the Maomao family line? It could just be a line to reference the fact of her own birth and how things work in the pleasure district. Maybe even explaining the knife scene that we saw before, beyond just the aspect of the syphilis, or maybe even in tandem with it. It just seems to me that the show mostly doesn't have throwaway lines. Like, what if Lu Min is actually Feng Xian's father, and that's why he stepped in to take care of Mao Mao? That this is a cycle of things that are happening? For now, this is just a note as something to maybe look out for in season 2, I guess. So, ignore for a moment all the things I said before about Lacan's uncle. His attire changes by the time we see him brought up again, but he is wearing the same clothes we see Lu Min in nowadays. And he uses a cane, like Lu Min does, for having his leg broken on exile from the rear palace. Then, when he's getting yelled at, they say he was a doctor in the rear palace and now exiled. I think it's clear that Lu Min is Lacan's uncle. Like, that doesn't immediately remove any of my previous theories, but does make it that much more personal that he steps in to raise Mao Mao, his great niece. Lacan's father tells him to study abroad as a precaution. A precaution to what, I wonder? Unless the father knew about the pregnancy and was trying to divorce his son from the possibility of having a child with a courtesan? I know I missed that element when I was reacting. I think I mostly focused on the possibility of the uncle being Lu Min. I think for some reason I internalized his long wait as having to do with her prices going up, to the point that it would take him 3 years to be able to afford her again. Not that he was forced out and about by his dad/boss. It's far more reasonable to not see any guilt in Lacan's doing with what was the cause, regardless of his dark thoughts on the night that he was with Feng Xiang. What they did together, they consensually did together. Fate just worked against them in this. I also have to now think that I didn't put this into my note, but it's occurred to me as I'm reading it. His dad wanted him to study abroad, right? What did we learn from Lu Min? That he became a eunuch because to study abroad, they made him a eunuch. Does that mean that now Lacan is a eunuch for having studied outside of the country? Or did they mean abroad as like the greater Chinese area, right? Just a thought entered my head. So, I was hoping that the fingers weren't Feng Xiang's. But the thing I also missed on reaction was the mention of a smaller finger too. The knife scene with Mao Mao as a baby. I'm sure I mentioned looking at Mao Mao's hand after that, due to Mao Mao waking up and looking at it after the dream sequence memory. But it didn't look like she was missing any of her fingers. I guess this all implies that in his absence, Feng Xian grew angry, crazy, or delirious, and cursed his non-responses to her letters, chopping off her finger and a bit of Mao Mao's to send him. Again, he implies a tiny finger bit alongside the adult one, but I've yet to notice all this time anything missing from Mao Mao. Even after specifically looking at one episode. Either way, her reputation falling into disrepute is how she got the syphilis, from being forced to take customers unguarded by all the precautions Mao Mao commented on in episode 8. About the people hiding diseases with smells and the like, pushing the narrative that Lacan's absence destroyed Feng Xian's life. I suppose if Lacan does turn out to be a good guy, that this could lead to a revenge arc against his father, maybe? But then I'd have to wonder why such a thing wouldn't have happened already. Anyway, that was my final note. I guess the only thing left to do is hop on into the last episode and see where we go from here.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
All right, technically, I think this is going to be our last time hearing this specific opening. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for season 2 to start with a bunch of scenes from the last season. At the same time, I did read into the when the wagon is going by, all of the weeds, the wheat, whatever, they did look like there were images from the first part of the season in that. So it's entirely possible we could start next season with some sort of flashback to everything that's come. Entirely depending on what happens this season. I mean, not this season. We're at the end of a season. Entirely depending on what happens at this episode, right? This episode could leave us on a cliffhanger for greater events to come. This episode could leave us on a cliffhanger of something terrible that's happened that we're going to have to deal with next season. We watch, one episode a week? It's been 24 weeks since I saw the season 2 trailer and wanted to, had it win the poll. So, I don't remember what was in the trailer. That said, a lot of what we saw in the next time on was stuff from this season, so... Yeah, and again, this episode, he's gonna have to buy somebody from the Verdigris house. See, that's what I'm talking about. The little... Maybe she's missing a pinky? Pinky finger, I mean? Like tip finger? That's weird. Lockdown was in the Maomao's notes section.
ようやくお目覚めかい？うちの議長を身請けしようってんだ。銀の1000や2000で買えるもんじゃないと分かってるだろうね。
分かってるよ。銀1万で足りなければ2万でも3万でも。
That's not the way you just say that.
そうかい。
You don't tell somebody they can make up their own price. Again, it's either going to be Pa-Rin or Mei-Mei. He's either going to buy Pa-Rin for Lock-On or Mei-Mei for himself. Legitimately, she's front and center. Although he doesn't see her face, so it doesn't imply to me that he's going to buy somebody whose face he can't even see.
好きなのをと言ったはずだよ。その分たんまりもらうかね。
困ったもんだ。どんなに着飾った議長もご意志にしか見えない。
Arguably, I didn't think about this at the moment. Maomao is a price in the Verdigris house. He could buy Maomao. Although, was her wording one of the other girls?
私とて義女のプライドは持ち合わせてます。もしお望みでしたら何のためらいもございません。ですが、選ぶならちゃんと選んでくださいね。
Are we gonna say that Fang Zhan is still for sale? Because that's the path to the place that she's in, right?
Mei-Mei, 勝手に開けるんじゃないよ。何やってんだい。待ちな。
Did he not know that she was still here? No, he visits her, doesn't he?
枯れても美しい花あれに意味があったとしたら
I could have sworn that they keep saying that Lakan visits. Has Lakan been visiting for Mei Mei? And didn't realize that Fang Xing was still here? I mean, it's the same song as the night that you were together. I mean, if it's love, right?
この女で頼む
バカ言ってんじゃないよ。
誰でもいいと言ったのはババアの方だろう金はいくらでも出そう10万でも20万でも払ってやる
何言ってんだい。
Yeah, it was her finger. And again, I highly suspect she doesn't have a nose yet, either. No, I guess she does. I was wrong. Oh, never mind. His vision of her.
こうやろうほう、こう来たか。君の打つ手はいつも突拍子もない。マオマオはそんな君に似たんだな。
I mean, again, that's a lament from so many of these shows. You can't take back what's happened.
私はこの議場を見受けするよ。宝泉家のような美しいこの女を。
I mean, to be fair, it wasn't one of my guesses. Didn't guess this at all.
あの男を6召喚まで送り届けるのに同行してくれたのは馬仙だった。疲れたな。
Yao Shun's grandson, right?
腹黒親子め。
あれはローラン妃。園遊会の後こちらに残っていたのか。あの男が高級に娘をご利用ししたというローラン妃の父親か。それにしてもこんなところで交換の悪口を言うのはやめてほしい。誰かに聞かれたら。
I mean, yeah, you can tell with the respect because the other servants that were walking by with her, literally eyes down.
おい。ジンシ様がお呼びだ。
ご苦労だったな。
いえ、それほどでも。
あら、こんなに痩せちゃって。
大丈夫。
はい、シャオマオ、たくさん食べなさいね。まだまだ持ってきてあげるから。
You're treating her with a lot more respect than you normally do.
軍師殿のこと、お前はてっきり恨んでいるものかと思っていたが。
ジンシ様、恨んじゃいません。こちらとしてはうまく命中させてくれたおかげでここにいますので。
That's a way to put that.
ないのか。
本当のことです。何を想像したか知りませんが、義女の合意がなければ子ははらみません。
へ
不妊薬や堕胎剤もありますし、初期であれば流すこともできます。産んだの
Yeah,
は
so it must
そ
have been
の
the
意思があ
hatred.
ったからでしょう。むしろ測られたのではないですか。
軍師殿がか。
女とは狡猾な生き物です。血の流れの周期を読めば子ができやすい日時などある程度予測がつきます。妓女ならば文を出して訪問の日を変えてもらうこともできます。だからこそ狙いが外れた時は我を忘れたことだろう。
Yeah, but I mean, she wasn't trying to
自
kill
分を
you.
傷つけることすら
She was trying to
厭
fucking
わない
curse him, I guess.
それでは飽き足らず赤子の小指まで添えて文を送った。ジンシ様、
But again, I don't see you missing
あ
any
の
of your
男に
fingers or
執務室以
fingertips.
外で話しかけられたことはないですよね。
そういえば。
あの男は人の顔がわからないんです。
わからない。どういうことだ。
目や口の形はわかるのに、それをまとめて認識できず、皆同じような顔に見えるそうです。
それは気の毒だな。
ええ。その話をしてくれた養父もそう言っていました。
かわいそうなやつなんだ。その
No,
せい
of
で
course.
ずっ
This is
と
just
苦しんで
confirming what I said about Lumen.
でもなぜか私と養父の顔だけはしっかりわかるみたいで、おかしな執着するのもそれが原因のようです。
Oh, that's weird.
ジンシ
I
様、
guess at some point he was
あ
able
の
to see
モノク
Lumen's
ルに
face.
パパって呼んでと言われたらどう思いますか。
メガネをかち割りたくなるな。
でしょ。自分を父親だと言い張りますが、せいぜい種馬がいいところです。あの男
I
は
mean, come
枯
on.
れた装備の意味に気づいただろうか。まあ、わからなければそれでもいい。
I feel like we established a lot of the lineage of how Mao Mao is so fucking smart. Like, it's in her fucking genes at this point.
その割には露骨な嫌い方に見えたが。
ジンス様もまだよくわかっていませんね。祭事を止めようとした時、私はあの男に助けられました。おそらく何か起きることを感じていたんです。
軍師殿があの時は何も知らなかったはずでは。
私のように証拠を集め予測を立てる。
I mean, he was at the warehouse. I think he figured it out from the get-go.
それをめったに外しません。腹立たしいことに面倒くさがりで自分では動かないんです。もしあの男が表立って動いていれば、今頃蘇りの妙薬が手元にあったかもしれない。
No. Jinshi would be dead, and Suri would have been equally have just gotten away with it.
が手放しで褒めるほどなのに、あの男は自分の恵まれた才を分かっていない。味方にはできませんが、敵にしない方がいいでしょうね。
わかった。
どうしたのですか。
いえ、世の中には好きで嫌われる父親なんていないと思ってください。
I mean, you're a grandpa at this point. Oh, sorry, was Boston his grandchild? No, Boston was one of his sons, right?
中には誰が誰に見受けされたか書かれた手紙と美しいヒレが入っていた。
いい？マオマオ。私が見受けされるときはちゃんと踊るのよ。
I guess that's gonna lead into the end of the opening, right?
本当はメイメイ姉ちゃんを送りたかったな。
Wait, Meme's not getting bought out, is she?
誰よりも優しいあの妓女。
I mean, unless she's going with Fang Zhan. Literally, if I was gonna make a bet, I would have bet that Pa Rin was gonna be the one who got bought out. Well, leg is still injured.
しの夜に瞬く記憶時を重ね私を包む戸惑いながら痛み知るたび胸の奥で膨らむつぼみいつか消えない
There's a lot of resemblance to the dance from the first opening.
この想いを凛と開いて今誰かのために咲くその姿は
Also feel like I've been watching Final Fantasy X cutscene.
いつまでもあの花のよう案外覚えているもん
I say she's a child of the Vertigress house.
おい何をやっているんだ。
ジン様、なんでここにいるんです？
また変な女が外壁によじ登っていると報告を受けたら
He didn't climb the wall for the first
こ
one.
っそりやってたつもりだったが、そりゃバレるか。
They all just stood on the ground watching her
手
dance.
間をかけさせるな。
わざわざジン様がいらっしゃらなくても他の方が来ればいいのでは？
親切な衛兵がお前の顔を知っていてこちらに話を通してきたんだ。地味にやっているつもりでも周りはそう思っていないことは覚えておけ。
御意。
で、今度はお前の番だ。何をしていた？
花町では身請けされた妓女を見送るとき、他の妓女たちが舞を舞うんです。
Ah, she was dancing for her mother. I got that.
お前踊れたんだなと思って。
基本的な教養の一つとして教わりました。
外では噂になっていたな。あの変人が妓女を身請けすると。
そうでしょうね。
ついでに休暇届を出された。10日は休むつもりでいるらしい。
実に迷惑ですね。姉の手紙に書いてありました。3日3晩どころか7日7晩宴をするそうです。身請け金にいくら使ったか知らないが、
Probably 4,000, sorry, 400,000.
の日じゃない。しかし、身請けされた妓女は表に出ることはない。
I mean, legit, Granny's gonna charge him the most money that he said out loud.
やり手ババアの思うままだ。
それにしても、軍師殿は一体誰を身請けしたんだ？
さあ、誰なんでしょうね。
知っているんだろ？
どんな美女でもジン様にはかないませんよ。
答えになっていないが。
否定はしないんかい。あの男が身請けした女はそんなに長く持つまい。
Oh, okay, I didn't know she was holding out like that.
私を産んだ女の話を聞いたことはなかった。きっとやり手ババアが口止めしていたのだろう。しかし、そんな話はちょっとしたことから漏れていくものだ。六将官が潰れかけた原因が自分にあること。鼻が欠けたことを恥じて自分のことを遠ざけていたという女が誰であるのか。
Yeah, but again, at the end of the day, she wanted you.
女の母たる記憶はない。今あるのは歪んだ小指だけだ。
I guess it's just beyond my ability to notice. They're literally holding it in front of the camera and I can't fucking tell.
ジン様。
どうした？
指の先って切っても伸びてくるのですよ。
Oh.
今言うことか。
Well, there you go.
何してんだ？
傷口が開いてしまいました。
開いたじゃないだろう。
戻ったので 体が熱くなっているのかと。薬の実験のせいかどうにも痛覚が鈍くなっていて。大丈夫です。すぐ縫いますんで。ジンス様、縫えません。
ここで縫うな。
ジンス
I mean, we've seen Jinshi's body. We know what he's capable of.
傷口が広がるだろう。
誰かに見られたらどうするんですか。
Not the first time I've carried you this way.
それにこうやって運ぶのは2
Boom.
度目だ。
Me and Jinshi. I'm drawn at him for a reason.
あの時か。ジンス様、こんな時に申し訳ないのですが、ずっと言いそびれていたことがありました。
どうした？急に改まって。
どうしても言わなくてはいけない大切なことでした。
さっさと言ってくれないか。
I mean, it's not gonna be what we expect, I assume.
ジンス様、ご応募ください。
Ah, fucking course.
まさか用意してないのですか。
失礼なことを抜かすな。まったく。
いきなり頭突きとは大人げない。
I mean, I guess it's just confirmation of the relationship.
話をしていて気が楽だ。
I knew they were gonna pull the rug out from under us and not give us that.
Maomao ジンシ様がいらっしゃってるわよ。
はーい。失礼します。
もう体調は戻ったのか。
ええ、水球では皆さん。
Yeah, why is she still back at the Jade Pavilion? Should she be back at Jinshi's place working there?
ところで何かご用でしょうか。
いや、何？面白い話が回ってきてな。頼みたいことがあるんだが。
はあ、またか。で、私は一体何をすればよろしいのでしょうか。
マオマオの物語は始まったば
Okay.
かり。
I just don't know what the story's gonna end.
どんな事件に巻き込まれるのか。
Okay. So here's the element that was throwing me every time I was watching. As it was giving me the Lord of the Rings ending. It's like, when is the end actually going to be here? Because when the panned up to the night sky, right? My first thought is, oh right, no next time on. This is the end of a season. And I was like, oh, disappointment hit me because I'm like, I was counting on that next time on to give me like inspiration for what to anticipate next. And then we just kept going, and it's like, wait a second. I don't know. Technically, I think the least interesting thing to do is what they did here, which is to say, Maomao's adventures have just begun. Like, I appreciated I've got another case for you. And then she's like, oh, okay, hit me with it. And it's like, okay. Things are continuing as normal. Fine. I like that as a ending. Essentially, that is just like in Mushoku Tensei, showing us that they're still on a journey, right? But having the narrator pop up and say, Maomao's adventures will continue in season 2. It's like, I don't know. That's just so Saturday morning cartoon. So, I don't know. Either way, though, good episode. I really like the attention on Lakan and Fang Xing. Unexpected, I think. Because again, I was betting on Mei Mei or Pa Rin, but I guess Mei Mei obviously was stepping aside. Appreciate that. That was good on her behalf. And, my bet about Pa Rin was mostly just about the whole lock-on storyline. Not lock-on, Lihaku. The whole Lihaku storyline. So I guess this is, without the ability to change the past, the best we could have hoped for with the lock-on Feng Zhen storyline. As, Mao Mao points out herself, she's not long for the world anymore, so I assume the 10-day vacation is the 10 days expected that she's going to last. Because we saw her laying down in her old outfit, and she didn't look well there either. But yeah, no, I don't really have any notes here on this, because literally everything from my notes was essentially confirmed. The Lumen thing, the additive that that Lockon can now see Lumen's face, where before he couldn't, so I guess that's added information to that. Yeah, like I said, everything was just confirmation of stuff I said in the notes. Nothing new happened except for the Feng Xian thing. Slightly disappointed that there was no payoff from the Jinshi Maomao thing, but, I was a big fan of Kaguya-sama. Sorry, I forgot the name for a second. I was a big fan of Kaguya-sama. I'm no stranger to a will they won't they for 3 seasons. So, yeah. Anyway, as per, we still have Mao Mao's notes to get into, which there is one for this episode. I'm going to anticipate something about syphilis or balsam again. I don't know. I really don't know what they could go in here. Stitching, maybe? Let's tune in, find out, and we'll see. Rumor.
薬屋はどこだ？
お呼びでしょうか？
今、高級内外で面白い噂が流れていてな。
ジンシ様が噂話とは珍しい。どのようなものでしょうか？
とある次女の話で、普段は目立たぬようにひっそりと暮らしているが、次女は仮の姿。そのものは摩訶不思議な力を有していて、本当は術師に違いないと。
術師？
we do have a bunch of people in the story right now who look like other people.
上級費をあっという間に治癒し、自身は猛毒を食べても優雅に微笑むことができるらしい。しかも、この世に存在しない花を何でも咲かせることができる。
Are you talking about Mao Mao?
夜な夜な城壁の
Yeah,
上
you're talking about Mao Mao.
死者の国と交信するために舞を舞っているとか。
ジンシ様はそれらすべて魔術や妖術ではないことをご存知のはずですが。
そうではあるが、なんだか愉快ではないか。
まったく。こんなことで子供みたいに笑うんだな。噂とは本当に当てにならないものだ。かくいう私はそれがきっかけでここでの生活が大きく変わったのだが、さて次はどんな噂話が巻き起こるのやら。ジンシ様、どちらへ？
その術師について他に逸話がないか高級内を聞いて回ろうと思ってな。
Oh, like stuff he hadn't heard about yet?
やっぱり暇なんだな。
He doesn't though.
またどこかで。
And now I'm gonna have to collect Mao Mao's notes for an entire new season. Oh, Rogue Knight in the comments is saying Jinshi is smart. How does he not put it together? He is putting it together. I think, anyway, my perspective is he is put it together. I mean, there's nothing to put together. He knows. He's just making fun, I think. Because the element I was thinking at the very beginning, when he was talking about, taking other forms and whatnot, was I thought, again, my whole previous theory about Surei and the guys that she was dressed up like, and the element that she merged in with other people, and then my other theory about the possibility of the pure consort being in a similar situation. I thought that's where that was going to go. Unfortunately, no. It was just a clever little joke about everything that Maomao has done in all of her time here. I mean, it was a good little send off with all the flashes to what's previously happened in the season, happening behind Maomao talking. At the same time, it's kind of what I expected from the episode itself, because the next time on, flashbacked to a lot of previous events in the story. But then that flashback didn't happen in the episode. So it just occurred to me that if we were going to get a flashback sequence, I think it would have been Jinshi watching Maomao dance. And I think we should have actually spent a little bit of time sacrificing the amount of Maomao will come back next season with more stories to include a quick flash forwards of the entire season in Jinshi's mind as he watched Maomao's dance. I think that would have been a better use of that time. That said, though, of course, I will come back with episode 1 of season 2 next time with notes, and I don't know if there's going to be any board adjustments for this, because this episode just confirmed everything I said, and I don't think it added anything new. I already had Lakan and Fangjing tied together, so the element that he then purchases her and then establishes that relationship here in the present doesn't change anything board-wise. But yeah, as I said, we'll come back with notes, so anything I haven't discussed here that happened in the episode will have thought about and written something about per next time. That said, though, I think we're done here for the season finale. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?